Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me and the rest of the panel here on Archive. What's going on, everybody? And what's going on? What's up? All right. What's up, G Funk? All right.
What's going on, man? I'm ready. I'm ready, baby.
All right. Make sure you guys throw a jab at that like button. All right. If you're listening on Archive, especially right now, press the like button. Also, if you're listening on Archive, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think in the comment section since you were not here to catch this live. Make sure you guys let me know what's up. We got what's in already in the chat. We got Stormy B Man type in the chat and Joe Lopez 40 ounce. They're saying I have an echo. Do you still hear the echo?
Hopefully not.
I don't know. Do I have an echo?
You sound clear to me, man, but I'm not on YouTube, so.
Hold on. Maybe because my thing was playing. There we go. All right. Joe Lopez 40 ounce. Sound check. Make sure we have no echo here. I don't believe I do. We're going to go ahead and start this off. Weekend Aftermath. We're renaming this show. It's no longer recap. It's Aftermath. Okay. Granados versus Easter on Showtime. All right. That was Joe Lopez 40 ounce. It was on him. All right. Anyway. Let's start off with you, Stormy B Man. Introduce yourself, by the way, and let us know what you thought about Granados versus Easter on Showtime.
Good evening, everyone. This is Stormy B Man. I can be found right on YouTube at the Stormy B Man channel. My findings of the Easter Granados fight was I found it to be a very entertaining fight, first and foremost. The type of fight that boxing fans like to see, two guys scrapping. I think they, by the middle rounds, of 5, 6, 7 rounds, they had already thrown 1,000 punches at each other. And Easter, who had some lackluster performances at lightweight, and he moved up to this at the lighter weight, and he moved up to this division where he feels like he's a little stronger and he can stand his ground a little more. He always did like to fight on the inside, but I don't think he was worried about Granados' punching power. But Granados is a tough fighter. Fighting out of Chicago. I actually know of Granados. I've seen him when he was an amateur here a lot. Saw him at a lot of the tournaments. Very familiar with the kid. He was always a gutsy kid, as he's shown to be a gutsy man in the ring. And I had remarked in one of my videos that had he had a little more punching power, he would be more of a threat, because his style is that type of style. You know, when you talk about Vasily Lomachenko, this kid's style is that kind of style that Lomachenko is trying to stay away from, the exact style. And it's an aggressive, offensive style that is predicated on a fighter having strong will, determination, and the ability to press forward and be extremely aggressive. Easter found himself at home fighting on the inside and in close, but I prefer to see him use his jab, step outside, box, and set punches up, let guys run into shots instead of trying, because he doesn't have overwhelming power, and he puts himself in harm's way for the opponent when he is lackadaisical on defense himself. But he can box, he just doesn't box. And that's my criticism of he. But it was a good fight for fans. If you want to see something action-packed, you know, similar to a few weeks ago when we had Molina and what's his name? Forgive me, guys. Help me out on the undercard.
Oh, Lopez.
Oh,
Lopez.
Josecito.
Josecito Lopez. An action-packed fight, you know, a boxing fans fight. And I kudos to both guys, but I have a soft spot for Granados because he's the type of fighter that people want some of the guys who are champions to be. He has that type of spirit. He has that type of will, but he just hasn't had enough to put himself over the top. And I kind of feel for guys like that because they show more and almost a pinky finger than some of these other guys we got running around as pretenders and champion titleists or whatever. That's what I have to say about that fight so far.
All right, man. Reggie Owens. Tell everybody where they could find you. Let's get Reggie to 1,000 subs. He's almost there, by the way. Make sure you subscribe to Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens. Let us know, man. What are your thoughts on this fight, bro? Showtime.
Man, this was a real entertaining fight, man. The fight that I was losing my voice over. I was up there out of my seat trying to do the play call. It was so much going on between those two. I'm still trying to catch the voice now. But it was so much going on between those two in that ring, man. They gave it their all. They didn't shy away from anything. And early on, man, I had Robert pulling away with like the first 5 rounds. It was just his jab, man. And that's the thing with Robert Easter, man. He has one of the most solid jabs in the game. It's a beautiful jab. A lot of speed on it. It's crisp as hell, but he abandons it. He doesn't like to fight at this distance. So he just goes into where some trigger switches off in his head, and he says, "Forget all this technical boxing stuff. I'm about to make it a war." So he goes in there to test his will, and that just fit right in the game plan with Granados. And Granados was coming straight forward as well. I think that's probably what made him turn into a war. Robert Easter got tired of having to take the step back, circling around laterally just to create the distance because he had a fighter that constantly moved forward to where I guess he said, the hell with that. I'm tired of moving around. I'm just going to sit in here and bang with this dude. And they went forward for 10 rounds straight, just going on the inside, just banging with each other, exchanging, going to war. I'm surprised nobody was knocked down in this fight. I mean, a lot of punches thrown, probably over 1,000 punches thrown between each individual in this fight. And they had to at least land about 400 of those punches. They was teeing off in this fight. The only thing I didn't like, man, was these scorecards. And I think that's the one thing that brought Granados to kind of a little bit somber. I can't even call it a somber moment, but a moment to where he started to second guess this boxing thing just based on, his shortcomings when it comes to victories, him speaking about people calling him a punching bag. Those are the things he shouldn't worry about. Because people making those comments are folks who just sit on the couch and become overcritical of things they can't do or what they expect from other fighters. But the hell with the losses. He's getting in there. It ain't like he's being whitewashed. The only time you seen him get dusted off was in the last fight against Danny Garcia. In a division he probably didn't belong in. But what he do? He kept getting up on his feet. He didn't give up. They had to stop the fight for him. He shows his warrior spirit. So it's nothing for him to hang his head down on. And for anyone to call him a punching bag, they haven't really seen that because all of his fights have been competitive except that last one. And for this one of those judges to really sit on the side of that ring and not give this dude a round, it just shows how unattentive some of these judges are in this sport of boxing. They're not watching what's going on. It almost seems like they side with one side who happens to be maybe the bigger name, the more favorable name to kind of move on through a division. Another judge putting this at a 98-93 fight. I mean, not 93, 98-92 is another, only giving this guy 2 rounds. But the one judge, I had a 93, so maybe that's bad. But to not give this dude a round makes a guy feel as if he wasted his time going into a fight to not win a round, especially when you're putting in that kind of work. You're making each round competitive. You're not laying down or bowing down. 100 to 90 shows that you went in there and laid down. And I think that's probably the thing that was most disheartening for Granados. Yeah, for Granados. But all in all, man, he showed a lot of heart. Both of these warriors showed a lot of heart, and they made this a real entertaining fight. They made it so entertaining, the main event couldn't even keep up with it. The main event was so lackluster, following up behind a performance by these two individuals. So It took a lot. It took a lot for any fight card to live up to what this feature bout presented for the fans. But it was a fan friendly fight, and I enjoyed it. Want to see where Robert Easter goes in this division. This division got hot. It's a hot division. There's a lot that's gonna go on with it. Following that World Series of Boxing, so it's gonna get real entertaining, and we're gonna have to see how well Robert Easter can perform against some of the champions and former champions, especially with that style that he has when he can box. That's the crazy thing. So if no one's been able to knock him out, I guess that's just the style he's going to stick with. But all in all, man, it was a great fight.
There we go. AJ10 says he scored it a draw. Shout out to him, by the way. David Garcia in the chat. What's going on? I just hope you guys are having a good night. We're just getting started right now. All right. So that was some great stuff, man. Let's go ahead and talk about this right now. G-Funk. What's up, G-Funk? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Glad to be here.
G-Funk knew yellow was the color. Look at the logo. He knew ahead of time.
Actually, this is gold for the World Series that we won back in 2010. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Los Gigantes, baby.
But check it out. All right. Shakur Stevenson on ESPN Plus defeated Joet, his cuñado, bro. He defeated Joet Gonzalez. All right. How did you see that fight? We're going to talk about other drama later. Just how did you see the fight?
All right. Well, first and foremost, I want to again say thank you to D-Style for having me on. And I enjoy talking here with you guys, Reggie, Stormy B-Man. And it's official, guys. I finally joined the team. All right. Got the Sharpie. And as you can see, the scorecard looks lovely. Well, I scored the fight 117 to 111 for Stevenson. It was a pretty easy scorecard, pretty easy to score. I felt like Shakur, outboxed him, showed good defense. His what I really like, one thing that I really liked he was doing was he was shooting those straight left hands to the body, right to the stomach of Gonzalez. I like those kind of body shots, man. Like, we always like to see the hooks and the uppercuts to the body, but it's always nice to see a nice straight punch straight to the body like that. He landed that punch, pretty much whenever he wanted to on him. And Shakur did his thing, man. He moved around, pot shot it from the outside for majority of the fight. Did a little showing off here and there, but I felt like he won pretty much all the rounds. I only gave a couple rounds to Gonzalez. He just wasn't active enough. Wasn't shooting his jab out there. I mean, he was putting a lot of pressure on Stevenson, but again, he wasn't coming in behind a jab. He was just doing this, hands up, his guard like this. And it was just not a good night for him. He looked like crap. I give him credit for, I guess, hanging in there for 12 rounds, but I expected a little bit more out of him, especially with all the drama in the build up to the fight. But I guess Shakur, maybe it was him. Maybe he was doing something in there to make him feel uncomfortable to where he didn't want to let his hands go. But that was one thing that I was worried about with Joet going in, was that he's a guy who just doesn't let his hands go at times. And if there was a fight where he needed to let his hands go, it was this fight right here. He's on ESPN fighting against a young up and coming guy who could possibly be a superstar in the future. I mean, it's looking like that. Anything can happen in the sport, but he's looking like he's got the goods. And yeah, just like you post right there, man, he just outclassed him. To me, I was hoping that he would use a little bit of that emotion to, elevate himself, to really perform on a level that he had never performed before, but it just didn't happen. So I had a pretty wide scorecard for Shakur Stevenson, and for him, it's on to the next one, man. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna put him in there with one of the champions at 126. You know, for me, you know, I'm a guy. I don't like to rush guys, so you know.
We'll talk about what's next in a little bit.
Okay.
But as far as AJ-10, who it looked like his soul was taken away after the fight, Mortal Kombat style, your soul is mine. Yeah, Andrew Charles, I have to admit that I let my expectations as to how I wanted Shakur to win the fight blind me a little too much than what he actually did. I think that's the truth about a lot of people. Reggie, just the fight. We'll leave the drama and what's next in a little bit, but just the fight itself, how'd you see it?
Man, just what Andrew was speaking about, I let that affect how I scored it. But in this fight, like I stated, Shakur is a brilliant young talent, man. This dude is really flawless when it comes to his outside fighting. Real flawless, can't be touched. He sticks, he moves. Very, very, very great performance he had in this fight. But I kind of let what I seen, the separation and talent, overshadow how I was viewing the fight, because I became mad being that he didn't press the action. And the reason why I don't think my overreaction to it was kind of going a little bit overboard. This is what should have happened, being this is a championship fight. The title's on the line. He's in there with an opponent that he shows clear separation. So an opponent who can't do anything to him, you're supposed to get a guy like that up out of there. And you're supposed to send a statement to the rest of the champions that are out there, the rest of the contenders that are out there. You're supposed to set an example by getting an opponent who doesn't belong in there with you. And Shakur stayed in there playing around a little bit too much, and that started to bug me in these rounds. And then starting to let this guy gain a little confidence to come on the inside. Joet tried to get in some work from the inside, from the clinch, slapping off punches. That's when Shakur should have turned up. About round 6 is when he started to have this guy open. There was nothing Joet posed as far as a threat. Joet couldn't even really throw a punch off that would have been of any significance to hurt Shakur. So Shakur could have just let loose on this guy, but it was a clear separation, clear domination, and Shakur was supposed to set the example with this dude. And what it would have did is also raise the stakes in the sport of boxing. There's been no way that Top Rank can deny the talents of this guy and the threats that he posed. Now these issues that makes him unhappy in the sport are going to continue to fester up when he had such a safe performance. And that's what I call it. He should have went out there and mashed the gas on this Gonzalez cat. But all in all, masterful performance as far as boxing. But on the inside, I saw some flaws on his inside game. I showed his inability to really engage on the inside and not looking so well inside of the clinch. So him going against a more experienced champion out there, I wonder how does he pose himself, because not all these fights he's going to be able to keep the fight on the outside. How well is he going to engage on the inside? And that's the problem I have. There's too many of these vacant titles that are making people champions. I think vacant titles, if say Shakur is to get in that spot, it should be how you got to fight against another champion, almost how Loma and Luke Campbell had to do it, rather than two top contenders going for a vacant title. You should have to prove yourself against another champion. And I wanted, like the OG was saying, I want to see him at least do 2 more fights before becoming a champ. But now that he has a title,
we'll get to that right now, Reggie.
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and wrap it up. But that's all I got on that. He dominated, but he should not. This fight shouldn't went the full 12 rounds. He should have got him up out of there, and I was disappointed with that, even though he had a masterful performance.
Most definitely, man. Stormy, talk to us. How did you see this fight?
Though I didn't get a chance to really see the entire match or whatever, I listened to the call on it, and from what I got from what I was hearing, but not able to see visually myself, Shakur fought a safe fight for himself. His talent level was way above his opponent, so he stayed in the safe zone. This is not the type of fight that is going to show you very much because of who he was in with. Plus, it was about winning that title, for him. And so he definitely wasn't going to overstepped the boundaries of taking too many risks. He wanted to be in a position to ensure a victory, so he wasn't going to give the opponent a lucky puncher's chance or whatever by going inside, trying to do the type of work that it might take to take him out. But see, you won't be able to dictate that with veteran fighters, because veteran fighters who now are going to be gunning for your title, you're going to have to know how to have ring generalship to control those aspects of the fight when you face someone who's a true veteran and someone who is hungry for the title. This is why I said he needed more fights before this, because I could see him, depending on who you see him go in there with, within his first 3 or 4 title defenses, losing the fight. And that's not trying to put him down. Yes, he's talented, but he's also very young. He's also very inexperienced. But is he like the young talent like Floyd Mayweather was when he was young and won a title early? He beat Gennaro Hernandez, who was a very good veteran fighter.
Better than Hoyt, yeah.
And he made Gennaro say no mas, basically. But that was because Floyd was a prodigy. He was something extremely special. Is Shakur a prodigy or something extremely special? I don't think so, because you have a lot of guys that are equated where he is, so he doesn't stand alone. Now, when those guys begin to start facing each other, because they're all within a couple of pounds of one another, you got Lil B-Hop, you got Tank Davis, you got Devin Haney, you got Shakur, you got Gary Russell Jr., you know, and a couple of other names. They're all around there, but they're all scattered. It's like nobody is on a collision course. And this is the most dangerous thing to think about. And I said this in a video that I released recently. Gary Russell Jr. is the most dangerous champion out there right now around these guys. Do you know why? It's because he has come to a point in his career. He pretty much has maxed out as far as, you know, fighting these various opponents. Now he's looking to chase legacy. Now he's looking to chase legacy, and he wants names. Of course, Lomachenko ran away from him, but he's got a few other guys that are still around there. And the only thing they could try to do is age him out. But he's not shot worn by any means. So he's a very dangerous and live body and a veteran fighter. The second longest tenured champ in the sport, like Deontay. But as far as Shakur, I think that they can't pull him back now. He's a champion. But I would have liked to see him get at least 4 to 6 more fights in with different styles, because I still see some things that I'm a little concerned with. You know, when I look at him in there, and this is one question you have to ask. Can Shakur take a punch? We've never seen him in there with somebody that could really crack. I ain't talking about he had to be like a chin like Chavez, right? But I'm saying, has he really been hit a shot in an exchange or something where it'd be like, whoa, you know, you don't know. Sometimes a guy could fall to pieces and his career will take a totally different change when he gets hit a good shot. We have to see. And we will get those answers soon.
I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. 92 AKU in the chat. No Paul Bocianos in the chat. Buddy AC just posted how they both gonna rank past Carl Frampton, Jesse Magdaleno, Michael Conlan, and not to be ranked WBC, WBA, IBF makes me question how this happened. Well, we already know how it happened. They were top ranked, bro. And okay. If Bob gives them a call, they'll make it happen. All right. Check it out. The fight itself. Let me tell you guys something. Everybody. All right. Shakur Stevenson, to me, he looked just fine in this fight. Okay. He neutralized everything Hoyt brought. okay, to the table. When Hoet tried to cut off the ring, it didn't work. Hoet tried to double the jab. It didn't work. Hoet tried to triple the jab. It didn't work. He tried to let his hands go when he had him against the corner. Guess what? He was making him miss by inches, okay, and making him touch him here, and then he would counter him. And guess what? Getting countered doesn't feel good. Getting countered sucks. When you're throwing, you're not landing, and then you're getting countered, it's not a good feeling. So to me, he neutralized them. What he was doing was working. All right. And there was no reason for him to do anything else because it was up to his opponent. All right. It was up to Joet Gonzalez to do something else. If it ain't broken, you don't fix it. Right. And if it ain't, okay, if it's aligned, you don't adjust it. So there was nothing for him to adjust. There was nothing for him to switch up. And not only that, by the way, he was landing really good shots on and sharp shots on Joet Gonzalez. Joet Gonzalez's whole face was battered up. Dude was doing an interview, all right? Still talking about how he can't forgive Shakur about what? I don't know. Oh, I can't forgive this guy. He was beat up. He was marked up. Okay, like this dude, he was punished in there. All right? So to me, I got to be honest, I think Shakur Stevenson looked good in this fight. All right. Joet Gonzalez, okay, maybe you guys, for anybody in the comment section, looked at Joet and said, this guy's no good. Now, Joet's not that bad of a fighter. Okay. No, don't get me wrong. All right. I'm not saying Joet's like freaking Eddie Morales or anything like that. Okay. Okay. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's like this amazing fighter, but he's solid. And he's a technical fighter. And to Chief Funk's credit, I do agree Joel had to let his hands go even more. He had to make sure he threw more. Okay, at least 200 more punches in the course of those. But here's the thing. That's not Joel. Joet Gonzalez is a technical fighter. That's what he is. So we're asking him to change what got him to the dance, what got him to that point. Or just, hey, everything you learn, forget about it. Right? It's just become a brawler. Just come forward. Just throw everything you got. It's hard to rewire someone that way, right? That's what when Canelo was in there with Floyd, and people, well, why didn't Canelo let his hands go? I don't get it. Why didn't he get more aggressive? Because that's not who he is. They were asking him to do something. And by the way, no, I'm not comparing Joet to Canelo, okay? All right, but what I'm saying is, I think it was a good performance. And what should be scary to some people is for all the other dudes in the division, dude, there's more cats in the bag, bro, in the hat. There's more tricks that he didn't have to use that he's not going to reveal to you so you could watch it on film. He'll wait to use them when he's got you in the ring, Warrington. He'll wait to use them when he's got you in the ring, Gary Russell. He ain't going to reveal it to you if he doesn't have to. The Hawks are watching. The trainers, they're like hawks when they watch tape, right? They're watching. You're going to reveal something you don't got to. If you're neutralizing a fighter, and that's what he neutralized them. And by the way, get more aggressive for what? I forgot what round it was, but Joet landed like a nice hook on Stevenson. And Stevenson took it very well. But Stevenson was starting to get more aggressive. All right. When you get more aggressive, you're going to get hit more. All right. But you know, he smiled. You know, he was kind of like, okay, you got me. And he went back to doing what he do. Right. So I like the performance. I think it was a really good performance. Now we're going to segue to this. Okay. Look, man. The elephant in the room. Okay. Let's just talk about it. Okay. The sister, the drama. All right. Look, I'm just going to look, man. I'm just going to say it. Like, and I'm just going to say it. It's going to be said. All right. What you say? Who has to beat to even get that fight? Look, man. We're not gonna dissect Joet's resume, okay? Right now, that's not what we're here. Let's talk about the drama. All right. Look, I was giving these guys the benefit of the doubt, right, in the build up to this fight, right? And I said, like, I honestly pictured a scenario where, like, they just drop it after the fight. Okay. They walked out of the ring. They couldn't even do a post fight interview, right? They walk out of the ring. They find a dude, okay, and they're in the back and they're interviewing him. Guy's like, he says, it's still, he disrespected the family. Oh, this guy, it's not over just because he won this fight. It's about something else. I was reading an article. I was looking into it. Like, what did he do? What the fuck this dude got? What did he do? Oh, he didn't look at me in the eye when he shook my hand. What the fuck you want to look at his eyes for? Like, what's so important? By the way, all that's a bunch of bullshit anyway. Okay, all right. Oh, his pants were a little too low. Really? All right. Really? No, bro. Like, we all know why, bro. Like, who are you kidding? All right. But I want to address the people with the conspiracy theories, by the way. Oh, no, Hoet and Shakur, they worked together with the dad so they could promote this fight. The sister was behind all this. No, stop. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Stop. You're giving this dad, especially the dad, because Hoet is guilty, of course, right? But the dad's the one that, that's really pushing this, right? The dad's the one that's like telling Hoet, are you loyal to me? You got to be with me, just like with the sister, okay? You guys are giving this dad a pass because of your conspiracy theories, okay? First of all right, you don't need, this fight was on ESPN Plus, guys. It wasn't a pay-per-view fight. There was nothing to sell, okay? It was on ESPN Plus. Bob Arum was going to do the fight anyway because in the WBO rankings, there were 3-2, and that's it, or whatever it was, 1-2. Okay, like that's what made the fight. So that's number one. Number two, Stevenson didn't even want this fight, right? At first, he didn't. Like, why do you want to fight your cuñado for? You know what I mean? Like, why do you want to fight your brother's girl for if you don't have to, right? But who the hell is calling? I have a call in the middle of this shit. This is insane. Just ignore it.
That's Hoet's dad, bro.
Hey. But here's my thing. All right, hold on.
Yeah, you guys know you can't pause in one of these shows, all right?
Hello? Hey, do me a favor. Don't call the fucking house. Are you dumb? I don't want to buy shit. Okay, stop calling people at this time, you fucking piece of shit. Anyway. Well, that's it. Can I speak to Mr. Aaron? We got this great offer. Shut the fuck up. How about that? Okay. But anyway. All right. Look, man. It's clear to me that Hoet and his dad have a problem with who the daughter's dating because he's black, and that's it. That's what it is. Okay. That's what it is. Like, oh, how did he disrespect your family? I read an article, bro, where supposedly the sons weren't allowed to date till they were like 23, and the daughter wasn't allowed to date till she was 27, so they could concentrate on boxing, right? Now, first of all, that's retarded, okay? All right, that's dumb. But the second thing, okay? Let's say that's true. Like, how is that Shakur's problem? All right? Like, I don't know one guy. I've never asked a girl, hey, does your dad let you, so what date are you allowed to date? And she's already like in her late teens, early 20s. All right? You never ask a girl, hey, are you allowed to date at this age? Okay, I don't want to disrespect your dad now. Okay. Okay. Well, we're not living in the medieval ages now where we're like dad sells the daughter to whoever he wants and she has to be a virgin and so she can have some value. And those days are gone, guys. Okay. Like we don't live in those days. All right. But we don't live in those days. And that's it. Oh, but how did he disrespect the family? In what way? And by the way, I'm hearing many channels that I like, by the way, saying things like, well, I wouldn't, again, you guys are giving this dude a pass. Like, oh no, well, I wouldn't let my daughter date Shakur Stevenson either. Like, let me tell you something. Okay. First of all, do any of you know how old the daughter is? I don't know. How old is she?
I'm not even sure. I think she made 19 or something like that.
Okay. Like, I mean, at that point, she's probably out of high school already. Like, dude, it's enough, bro. Okay. All right. And by the way, Shakur didn't take your daughter and not let her talk to your family. You chose not to speak to her. Right? That's your decision. That's what you decided. Okay, we're not talking about a dude that's like because I know guys that keep girls from their families and stuff. You know what I mean? But that's not what's happening here. This is a decision that you made, right? This is a decision you made. Hoyt's dad is making this decision. Hoyt himself is making this decision. They made that decision to not talk to the sister. Oh, the only way we'll talk to her is she stops talking to Shakur. Come on now. Okay. Shakur's making 6 figures, bro. A lot of you guys talking like he's some bum in the street or some shit. Like some jobless guy that don't got nothing going for him. Okay, you guys got to chill. Okay? You got to chill with that. Dude will be a millionaire soon. Right? Like, really? You really think it's about that? Like, you really think it's not about that? It's not about, oh, but he's a punk. And it's not about that. Let me ask you guys something. If she was dating Canelo, does anybody honestly believe they would stop talking to the daughter? If she was dating,
no.
like Dad, I'm dating Canelo. Oh, how dare you! I told you till you were 27. I'm not gonna talk to you no more. Would any of these dudes be like with these conspiracy theories? No. All right? Stop giving these dudes a pass, bro. It's obvious the reason. By the way, his other 2 sons went rogue and shit. They went to give props to Shakur. Hoyt didn't do it, but at least the younger brothers did. What you think, Stormy B, man?
I think Pop said from the time they was little kids, he said, hey, don't bring no brown sugar home. Okay? Only Domino, gold, white, pure sugar. Okay? If you're going to bring it home at all.
22 years old, by the way.
Excuse me?
She's 22, by the way.
And so, the young lady, she's out there, she likes who she likes. And these are the times we living in. People like who they like. And traditionalists have something to say about that when it's about their domestic environment. And their true harbored feelings about that pour over into society when people get a peek at what they get a peek at what they have to say about things like that. And this is a situation where they're not the only ones. This family is not the only ones that feel that way or whatever. It's just that it happened around this particular time when this fighter is fighting, and there was an opportunity to cross paths with the sister's brother, in the sport. But that's what that's all about. Pops, that's his mandate. You don't bring brown sugar to this household. And there's a lot of people across the country that feel that same way. It's unfortunate, but it's a reality. And to hell with people like that. Because the thing about it is, it's the world is made up of many flowers, bro. And you can't put a dictation down on what's acceptable and what's not, because the world is plentiful. And as soon as you dead and gone, it'll be someone else to move along. So it's like, hey, Might as well just get with the program.
Yeah, and here's the thing though, like when Joet said, "I know for a fact he doesn't love her." Like how do you know that? Like here's the thing, right? Like if he had something, you know what I mean? Like let's say like no, like I saw like he can't even say like, "Oh, I saw Stevenson with another chick." Like I saw him. You know what I mean? Like he can't even like he has nothing. All they have is he didn't look at my dad in the eye when they shook hands. Okay, and his pants were sagging a little bit, according to them. I don't know, right? That's like every kid his age, by the way. Okay, and I mean it's better that than skinny jeans. You wanted to do with skinny jeans, all right? That's a different story. Okay, but like Reggie, how does Joet know for a fact that he doesn't love her? By the way, if it was like a hit and it quit it, he would have been done with it already.
Exactly. And he wouldn't be public with showing his affection to her if it was some hit and quit it. It almost makes me seem like, damn, do Joet want to bang his own sister? It's almost sound like some incestual mind state that Joet got going on. And that's the thing was tripping me out. Like, why are you worried about who your sister getting screwed by, as long as he ain't touching on her or any of that? And that's what made me mad with Shakur. Anytime a family member is challenging you about being with one of their relatives is when you make an example out of them. And that's just the case. It's some weird shit. But I was not been in a relationship. I had a little Mexican chick I was messing with when I used to live in Long Beach. And she used to come to my spot. Her thing was she had to hide that she was messing with me. I'm like, for what? Because of how her brother felt, because of what they taught. Like, I will mash your brother. Like, you ain't never got to hide anything, but she got to worry about that because her family would have rejected her for that. But it's like they have too much control. The world is beyond that. You deal with so many of these insecure dudes who, I don't know where the hell they develop all this racial ideology, but it's something that's, hey, it's probably been through the long periods of time. And me, I've always had a different look on when it comes to race. I always challenge racial type stuff. And that's why I would think I was mad with Shakur not mashing Joet out, because openly racial affair that's going on here. And for them to reject their own kid and their own sister, it just shows the clown in these fools. And that's even with me. Whenever I've been involved with a chick, I can give two shits about meeting their families. And it's because of stuff like this. I don't give two damns about meeting your mama, meeting your daddy. I don't care about that, because the minute these conflicts arise where they don't like you, I had a homeboy, matter of fact, live in Houston. He's with his wife, but my homie Mexican from out there in Houston, his wife's family is Dominican. These folks been planning the wedding for probably the beginning of the year. This is a few years ago, where they're planning this wedding. When it comes down to the month of the wedding, they come to find out that the mother has turned the family against them getting married based on his ethnicity. And I was like, this is the clown stuff that goes on with some families that harbor these deep racial views on how they feel about certain racial groups, but lucky his wife, she said F her family, and they have two beautiful kids to this day, and they're still married. But this is with Joet and them and Shakur and them. I hope he knocks her up and they have multiple kids, because you're going to watch this whole racial side of this clown father. It's going to begin to wane away, because I see it so much, especially out here where I see.
Got to be careful with child support now. Maybe like one kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, they'll be tired. I think after this right here, her dealing with this, it's going to forge a loyalty amongst them to where they done been through so much that loyalty will be unshaken. Even if the family couldn't break it, the love have to be there. Now Shakur got to be committed to this woman too. Like they got. They're going to telemarket calling me, but Shakur was supposed to make an example out of these. I should have cussed him out like you. But Shakur should have put a mash on these clowns, because all that bigoted crap ain't tolerated, especially when you got Trump-like folks doing this, speaking ill of Joet's own race, but then you taking out on a Shakur. Like, man, he's some punks, man. That's why I'm mad at Shakur. I'm mad that he didn't make an example and show this family, if y'all got problems when I come through there, he set the example. Like, you knock the brother out, you go by there, he ain't got no words to say to you. He ain't got no other choice but to respect you. But this father's a clown, Joette's a clown, and they need to keep Joette probably touched on that little girl. I ain't putting nothing past that fool. He probably been touching on that girl. I'ma say he got some incest in what is called incestual behaviors playing through his mind. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
He don't want to. Here's my thing though, bro. Like if it's that, like, you know, you never know, bro. Somebody might pull out a gun on somebody. You know what I mean? So like, I'm just saying that this, like, they need to just grow the fuck up is what they need to do. All right? That's what you got to do. Because, like, you're telling me, like, let's say they have kids, right? So you're not going to be a grandfather to that kid is what you're telling me? So that kid's going to grow up their whole life like, man, my grandpa didn't want anything to do with me. Right? And they're going to want to be in their life, and they're not going to want to be in yours at that point. Right. To answer the question, I don't want to like dive too much into that because we have a lot of boxing talk, but we don't want to hide from it, of course, because we are talking about it. But I don't mess with my sister, man, anyone but her, Tony Montana. Now, here's the thing. All right. Regarding the whole dating, look, yes. Okay. Like there is, like, not necessarily with my mom and stuff like that, but there's like an honor to in my family that would have an issue with me dating a black girl. You know what I mean? Like, and I know that. And I know that because of the things they've said about some of my cousins. All right. So, you know, it's, I have a cousin that had a baby with a black girl. Right. And one of my cousins made a joke like, oh, how do you know that's your son? And, you know, like just stuff like that, you know, that's just not cool. You know what I mean? But, you know, people like that just need to grow the fuck up, you know, and if you don't, then too bad. All right. Look at me. I got no worries in my life, bro. I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, when you're not racist, like, you're not angry, bro. Like, you're not angry at life. And I think these people are just angry at life or something. I don't know. Okay. But at the end of the day, you got to grow up. G-Funk, what are your thoughts on this whole mess, bro?
Well, I'm just going to say this. Because, you know, do I know for a fact that that's why he's upset? I mean, no. Is it probably the reason? Yeah. But I can tell you this, man, from experience, you know, it goes both ways. Because in my family, I have interracial family members. I have cousins that are half African-American, half Mexican-American. So, you know, I've seen it firsthand, you know, play out on both sides. What I can tell you is this, here where I'm from in Northern California, it's never been an issue between, you know, the black and brown as far as dating one another. I mean, it's you see it a lot up here. You really do see it a lot. I know down in LA, it's a little bit different. Southern California, it's very different. The relationship between the black and brown. But up here, man, we're pretty united, you know, and I'm proud to say that. Actually, by the way, shout out to the Cali Enigma for the $5 super chat. Him and I were actually discussing this same topic on his show Saturday morning about how here in Northern California, it's all love between the black and brown. And so that's why, you know, I'm not necessarily ruling out that he probably does have a problem with her dating Shakur because he's black. And like I said, I've experienced it here within my own family that it does go both ways, you know. One side doesn't like the other side, and then it messes up the kid. And I mean, I don't want to get too deep, you know, but you know, it does go both ways in some cases. It's not always just us hating them or them hating us. It goes, it's both ways from what I've experienced. But if that is the case, you know, I mean, that's just terrible, man. And you know, we just got to find a way to get past these kind of things, man. But I don't want to get too deep, you know. I want to stick to the boxing, you know. But as far as the drama and all that, they could have used it to promote the fight a lot more. You know?
The story fell on us. We didn't the story.
Right. No, they could have used it to really make this a huge fight. I mean, I was honestly thinking about going to see this fight because it was in Reno, which is not far from here, about a 2-hour drive. and they had it in a small little place. I mean, honestly, I feel like they could have really built this thing up if they wanted to, but you know, it is what it is, man.
All right, make sure you guys throw a jab at the like button. Okay, let's get to 30 likes ASAP. I know there's somebody on here that hasn't pressed that like. All right, the most important punch in boxing is what you found.
The jab.
That's right. Utilize the jab. Throw it to the like button. With that said, okay. Cali is related to Mexicans, bro. Look at this. Northern California. So Northern California is where they got to go, right? Like Shakur and
Northern Cali, stand up, baby.
Well, what's that, Reggie? Go ahead.
No, I was about to say you make a great point when you base it off of the regions in California, because Southern California, there is an issue, and that's an issue that took place to the way in which, you know, the communities became integrated. But even with me, like, that's why I take offense. I was raised by a Mexican woman. When I was taken away from my mother, a Mexican lady raised me, so I never thought of things like that. And even down in California, but it's a generational thing as well, because the younger generations of Black and Mexicans, they don't play that. Even amongst other races, it's really ideology that comes from the past, but younger generations are way different, to where they don't play by the color lines unless they get influenced by some ill-minded adult.
Absolutely, man. People got to grow up, bro. Stop being racist, bro. All right? I know. It became cool to be racist like a couple years ago all over again, but it ain't cool. Right. But by the way, I got to say this for all the people that are like, oh, come on, man, this ain't race related. Oh, no, then what is? You really believe they're that mad? At Shakur, by the way, because the daughter started dating and wasn't focused on boxing. You really believe that? Like, I don't know. I think that's all nonsense. Chisora Price. Let me tell you something, man. Chisora went in there and bullied Price. I mean, he just dismantled the guy. Okay, went in there and just destroyed him. All right. What'd you think, Reggie, about this fight?
Man, it played out the way I thought it was, man. I knew Price wasn't gonna have anything to keep Chisora up off of him. He can punch. Now he didn't have anything is being effective with his jab. Chisora showed good head movement is another thing. He was rolling around, shifting side to side to work his way on the inside, and it was very easy for him to get right where he wanted to throw off his power punches. Price tried to clinch. He did a pretty good job of clinching at moments, which allowed the fight to go longer than what I expected it to go. But it played out just right, man. Chisora is a dude, like he said, he goes out there to seek and destroy because he is not afraid to get knocked out. That's the one thing about Chisora and what makes him dangerous. He is a heavy puncher, and he is a guy who's willing to take big risks. So either you're going to knock him out or he's definitely going to knock you out. And that's what he went in there and he did against the big guy. It was just nothing that Price could do. Now, Price caught him in that, what was that, the third round? Wait, where's my note? I think it was the third round where he ended up catching Chisora. Chisora had him hurt as the round began to close, and in between the exchange where Chisora's trying to get this guy up out of here, Price landed a nice punch on Chisora that staggered him. The round ended, but it looked like he recovered very well. Like he said in his post-fight that based on how well-conditioned he was, his recovery was pretty quick. But luckily, he went right into his intermission between the third to the fourth. He went back out there, and that's all she wrote. I was tripping at the ref when the ref was going to let him go back out there. I was like, man, I was thinking this ref should end that fight, but he was about to let him go back out there. Luckily, the team threw the towel in because he was about to knock this dude head off if that fight would have continued. But it went as planned. I definitely want to see Price and Chisora now. Definitely want to see that.
But by the way, Buddy Akers, ain't nobody ignoring you, bro. Okay? Like this show was outlined before you came on here, bro. Chill. Okay?
I thought I addressed his question. I guess, I don't know, maybe he wasn't happy with it.
Like not liking the answer doesn't mean you were ignored. Okay? That's not. I'm just
not
saying.
only that, if you want to address somebody directly, address them according to the names that are up here on the panel. Then we can go from there.
Address it with a super chat.
That's right.
Yeah, if you address me with a super chat, we'll stop. I'll halt the show, and because we still got to get to Prograis Taylor, we're trying to get to that and all that. Like your question doesn't take precedent over that. Okay, but with that said,
Baiting.
yeah. But as far as Chisora price, man, anyone else have any other thoughts? Because I just think Chisora is trash. But
well, I will speak on that. The fight was just too easy for Chisora. I mean, as soon as the first bell rang, he just head first, straight to Price's chest, started banging away, throwing big looping shots. As soon as Price tied him up, he was able to just get one hand free, banging away with the free hand to the body up top. Same thing with the left. That was just pretty much the story of the night. Price didn't jab to try to keep him off.
Hey, somebody get rid of that dude. He annoyed the shit out of me. Somebody get rid of him. Go ahead. Go, Jim.
Yeah, and that was pretty much the story of the fight, man. I mean, he did land one good shot on Chisora at the end of the what was it? What round did this fight end in? At the end of the third round, I think. They were in the middle of an exchange against the ropes. He let go of a nice, vicious right uppercut that caught Chisora right on the button, and he did a little wobbly dance, and then the round had just ended, and then he came right out the next round and ended up stopping him, and actually the corner threw in the towel, and we went down, the corner threw in the towel, and yeah, this guy Price, I don't want to see him anymore. I don't think he deserves to be on any kind of card like this again after that performance. And I'm through with him, man, to be honest with you. As far as Chisora goes, I mean, he probably put himself in position to maybe get, another, I guess, big fight. I don't know. Depends on who they throw in front of him. But I thought it was a pretty funny fight, to watch. And that's pretty much all I got on that one, man.
All right. You have any thoughts on the amazing boxing technique of a Price, Stormy B Man?
No.
All right, let me tell you guys something. Let me tell you guys something right now. All right? Get out. Taylor versus Josh Taylor versus Regis Prograis. My personal, I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but it's my personal fight of the year, right? I love this fight. Okay? I loved everything about this fight. It was a tale of three fights. The beginning of the fight, the middle of the fight, and the end of the fight, right? First of all, Prograis started off with that jab, that up jab that it was throwing at the beginning, right?
Beautiful.
Down the pipe, through the guard of Taylor, and it was landing, right? That's what did all that damage on the face of Taylor, right? And then Taylor made an adjustment, started utilizing his jab. Okay, both guys were going to the body. They would have exchanges where, like, Taylor would land like a beautiful hook, and Prograis would dig down to the body. I mean, this was a great fight, right? And I have more to say about the fight because of a pet peeve of mine. But here's what I'll say. Good fight. And I told you guys, like, Prograis is not getting a decision in London, right? But with that said, this fight could have been scored either way, right? But like that one ref said, okay, 117, 112, bro. And for anyone, like I'm hearing people saying, no, it could be 117, 112 because a lot of the rounds were close, but he edged them out. Bro, that was a tale of three different fights within that fight. It's not like the whole fight was the same story. It wasn't the same story for 12 straight rounds, guys. Like, there was adjustments made by both men in that fight that changed the characteristics of what was going on in that fight. And if you can't see that, you shouldn't be scoring boxing. I'm just telling you that right now. All right. You know what? Let me just touch on my pet peeves now. Right. Dude, I am getting sick and tired. And there's no offense to anybody. This is not directed to one person. Okay. I'm getting sick of hearing the following when scoring fights. He looked more hurt. He looked tired. Well, I gave all the rounds to Taylor because it looked like Regis was about to. Every round looked like he was getting ready to get out of there. Did he get out of there? No. Obviously, what you thought you were seeing wasn't true because he finished the fight. This is why you don't become Mr. Reading Minds. Okay? Well, it looked to me like Regis Prograis just didn't want to be in there. In those middle rounds. Like, what do you mean? Was he throwing punches? Yes. Was he landing? Yeah. So what's the problem? Nobody looked like he didn't want to be in there. Like, what does that mean, guys? When you do, look, it's already subjective as it is to score. But you guys are given 4 criteria to score. Okay? Nowhere does it say, hey, if one guy looks tired, his punches don't count. If one guy looks tired, his defense don't count. If one guy looks tired, being the ring general doesn't count. No. Okay? You can't say, oh, he looked hurt, so therefore. Now, you just can't do that. You can't just, come on, guys. If me and G-Funk are having a boxing fight, okay? And in the first minute, let's say like the first 10 seconds of the fight, G-Funk lands a liver shot, okay? And I feel it. You could literally see like, oh, I kind of, I don't do a Keith Thurman, but you could tell I'm hurting. But I stay inside, even though I'm hurt. And I start landing bombs on G-Funk, like, bam! And then and then bam! But G-Funk never looks hurt, but I'm landing. For the rest of but I looked hurt, but I was out landing him for the rest of the fight. Are you really going to give the round to G-Funk and discount everything I did because I looked more hurt? Oh, my body language showed that I didn't want to be in there, or I just looked too tired. And come on. That's just a pet peeve of mine. I want to know what you guys think. But first, so 2-part question. Let's start with the Stormy B-Man. From what you know about scoring, what are your thoughts in terms of, oh, the guy looks tired, so therefore I'm not going to give him where does a guy looking tired, looking hurt, what role does it play when you're scoring a fight?
It plays absolutely no role in the scoring of a round. Guys can look fatigued, and sometimes guys fight better when they're fatigued because they're trying to get the other guy off of them, or they're bluffing, or trying to put themselves in a position to appear to have it together when they're actually falling apart. So that's another dynamic that judges are supposed to be taking into account when scoring rounds. Just because a guy is looking secure and in control of himself, he could be falling apart totally inside, which is why you're looking at the fight from more than just, a direct, visual standpoint. You have to assess the activity that's taking place. You have to assess where a person, when the gap between fighters is being, when that distance is being compromised, the person who's being submissive to that energy, the person that's being drawn to the energy, you have to be able to sensibly pick that up. It's all a part of that scoring process, and that's called ring generalship.
Right.
Okay. And also, the round is 3 minutes. So you have a beginning, middle, and end. So what transpired in the beginning of the round may not be as impactful as what transpires during the middle or at the end, unless there was a knockdown. And then even if there were a knockdown, sometimes the person who was knocked down can battle their way back to an even round if they got up and basically dominated the rest of the round themselves. So there are a number of factors that come into play. But one of the most telltale factors in judging a round is how someone is responding to the pressure that they're facing. If a person is giving ground, if they're not battling back, if they're clinching, if they're holding, if they're looking to stall the clock out, if they're moving around unnecessarily and not engaging at all, not even defending the guy off, but just trying to move and stall for time. All of these kind of things factor in. But also the guy that is doing that, the opponent needs to be doing something in pursuit. Because if he's just following him around and not looking to apply the pressure by punching more, cutting ring off, going to the body and things like that, that's how a round can end up becoming an even round in a judge's eye, because one guy didn't want to fight and the other guy didn't fight. You know, so there's some things that there are multiple aspects of what you're looking at during the action of a round.
Well said, man. Reggie Owens, what you think of this fight? And what do you think about the scoring? People saying, you know, we got to score body language.
People, man, people who watch these fights are crazy, and that's one of the reasons I watch fights alone, so I don't have to sit amongst people and hear stuff like that. This is a great fight, man. It was a great fight. What was on the line? This is what you want from boxing: unifications. Two of the top level fighters getting to showcase who's the top dog in the division. Just a good bout, man. And this one, man, I was tripping when I looked on my scorecards just based on looking at the fight. You would think that,
scorecard, by the way?
oh yeah, excellent work. Just look in there, look tight.
Oh, nice. All right.
This is the Vicks, not the Sharpie.
Look at that, bro. Look at this. All right, but go ahead.
But yeah, but just based on it, like what people who look at it just from the visual aspect without really assessing what is being landed, what's being hit. Taylor went in there and he did bully Regis Prograis. He stepped in to Regis' comfort zone and the region in which Regis likes to fight on the inside. And he battled with him. He tried to push Regis around. He brought the fight to Regis. He did those things to appear to look like he's being the one that's bullying. But does that count for scoring? No. And I was shocked when I looked at my scorecard because I'm thinking he's doing more of the work, but I'm scoring it based on how a fight should be scored. And when it came down to it, I had to rewatch it because I almost had this fight as a draw because I couldn't figure out who won round number 3, which I had as an even round. With that being the even round, it was 114, 115. Now, if I would have shifted that over to Regis, I would have had a draw in this fight. My final card after rewatching this third round, I couldn't figure out. I ended up having it 113, 115. It was a very close round. And what was happening with Taylor's aggressive style and pressing him forward, he was missing some of these shots. He was being countered very well by Regis, and Regis was landing shots, which is what you scored. Not just scoring that Taylor's the one coming forward, pushing him back, things like that, using the angles. Now, if Taylor would have been throwing punches, landing more of these punches along with that, he'd been pulling off these rounds. But these were some very tight rounds because early on in rounds, Regis would get off. Regis would get off his work, and then Taylor would come on towards the second half of those rounds. But in that moment, he was missing punches, not really scoring them. Now, Regis was fatigued in this fight. But it's still, he never gave up. It still didn't take him out this fight. Now, he catching that second win towards the later stages of the fight is what drew it closer. Because before that, I had him losing by those two extra rounds. But the final 2 rounds, when he caught that second win in the 11th round, which is unfortunate for him, he caught that second win in 11 to win that round and to win round number 12, which kind of closed in this fight. But before that, Taylor was pulling away with this fight, but lucky that second win kicked in for him. Is just unfortunate. It kicked in way too late. But the pressure from Taylor, it started to wear Regis down. Now, Regis can learn from this. I wouldn't just because he suffers a loss, it doesn't take anything away from him. This is a growing and learning experience for Regis. He been in here with a top dog. This Taylor cat is a real dude. He ain't one of these built up club fighters from over in that region. This dude can compete over here on the international side of things, and that's what I want to see from him. But overall, when you look at this fight and scored, it's more than just Taylor moving on the inside, boxing with him, taking away what we see Regis dominates with, and also seeing him pushing Regis around. You can't score that, but very close fight. But lucky Regis caught that second win in round 11 and 10 to make it a closer fight. But that's all I got for that one.
Hey,
Yeah.
one quick thing. Yeah. After the panel finishes that speak, I got a question that I want to pose to everybody about scoring. So go ahead.
No problem. Go ahead, G-Funk.
All right. Well, as far as to
by the way, really quick before I forget, dude, I told you guys Taylor was William Wallace 2.0. Told you guys. Anyway, go ahead. That's Braveheart. Braveheart. The movie Braveheart. Come on. Go ahead.
But yeah, as far as what the question you asked us about the body language, and I mean, I just disregard that kind of talk. I mean, we know how to score. There's four criteria to scoring boxing, but anyway, moving on. I had this fight. Yeah. I had this fight. Well, I predicted that Taylor would get the win in a controversial way because of the hometown, and unfortunately, we had one judge that just didn't watch the fight. You know, we had two judges that did, and one that just didn't watch it. I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he was eating a sandwich or something on the side, ringside or something. Who knows? But I actually scored the fight on my official scorecard. I had it 115, 113, 7 rounds to 5 for Prograis. I felt like he kicked in a second win in the second half of the fight, and I felt he won the majority of those rounds. I have here on my scorecard 6 rounds that I marked as close rounds that could have went either way. I didn't score any even rounds, though. I just don't believe in scoring even rounds. I'll give it to somebody, you know. But there was a lot of close rounds in this fight. It was very back and forth. And I was wrong in a part of my prediction because I thought that this fight was going to be more tactical, more of a chess match, and more of a fight that we would appreciate, you know, as hardcore fans. I didn't think it was going to be as much action as there was. And I'm glad that I was wrong about that because I really enjoyed it. Both guys did some great work. You already mentioned the up jab. That's a thing of beauty from Prograis. His head movement is just phenomenal. Taylor did some great work on the inside with those. I mean, these were just little short hooks that he was landing on Regis. Just beautiful work from both guys. Unfortunately, we had one guy that just didn't watch the fight, and that kind of messed it up. But I knew that it was going to be one of those fights that was close. I knew it was going to be one of those fights where we have 50 people saying this guy won, 50 people saying this guy won. Or even if you agree with who won the fight, you're going to have different rounds given to different guys. You know, but that's cool. I mean, hopefully these guys can fight again. I want to see unification first, but, we don't know what's going to happen with that. But overall, man, I think it could be a candidate for Fight of the Year. I mean, we still got some good fights left before, we finally decide on that. But I think it could be thrown in there. It could be thrown in the hat for Fight of the Year because it was a very, very good fight, man. And it was one of those classics, man. It reminded me of watching a fight from like an old 60s, from the 60s, 70s kind of brawl, man. These guys were just in each other's chest for the most part.
Like the movie Braveheart, right?
Oh, man, it was great, man. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, man, I just think that these guys should eventually fight again because I think that they're pretty evenly matched. Don't know if it's going to happen immediately because, like I said, we could have a possible undisputed here at 140. So we'll move on to the next stuff, man. But I really enjoyed it, man. But I did score for Prograis.
Yeah, it's credit for Prograis too, but it could have gone either way. I felt there was a couple swing rounds in there, but at the end of the day, judges called it what they called it. Quick note here. I mean, I'm kind of annoyed with people that are complaining about like the holding and Taylor was holding to my like guys. It's boxing. What do you want? You know what I mean?
It happens.
It's we can't complain about the whole holding's an infraction, bro. Okay, it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? So it's they break it up once you hold. You know,
As long as you're not holding like Klitschko, I'm good with it.
Yeah, he wasn't double legging the guy or something. Like chill. Like I don't think there was anything to complain about the reffing. I think the ref did a good job in this fight. To be honest with you, he didn't overly ref. He let him fight. By the way, very few times he had to say break. These guys were fighting in the clinch. They would fight off of the clinch. Overall, I think it was a really good fight to watch. And to me personally, it's up there, man. Like it's top 3 for me for sure as far as fight of the year.
And I do like how. Sorry, man. I do like how Regis. He could have went on a rant about that scorecard, that one bogus scorecard, but he was a man about it, and he said, you know what, the better guy won, and we'll move forward. And like Reggie said, just because he took a loss doesn't mean his career is over, man. That's a pet peeve of mine, and I can't stand that when someone loses the fight and everybody's like, oh, well, that's it. The guy's done. Just write him off, man.
Yeah, you know what?
I can't stand that, man.
Guys, you guys got to let go of the whole keeping the O thing. You know what I mean? Because dudes aren't going to – a lot of the fighters you guys like are not going to be undefeated, guys. Right. They're going to lose at some point. I'm letting you guys know right now. Speaking of taking O's, really quick before we get to Storm B-Man's question, right? Ramirez, all right, against Taylor is a fight to make. That is a unification. That is for undisputed. No, I don't count Barrios' belt. Sorry, Barrios. Okay. Right. That is the fight to make. Let's get the fight done. All right. Hopefully they don't make Ramirez franchise champion.
Oh.
All right. But hopefully they get that fight done. Shout out to the best fight, the best. Taylor winning, but I had Taylor winning, but I don't think he beats Ramirez at all. Look, let me tell you guys something. All right. I've been telling you guys, and I meant it when I said it. Taylor beats Regis Prograis. Okay. Ramirez beats Taylor, and Prograis beats Ramirez. That's my triangle. All right. That's how I see it. And I hope these guys stay in this division, by the way. They got a lot of fighting to do. Right? Jose Ramirez is going to make Taylor bend the knee, bro. Okay? Go to England. He's going to bend that knee, even though he ain't from England. Okay? And all you dudes from England trying to claim this win, the dudes from Scotland, bro. Okay? They don't even like you guys. So chill. All right? But shout out to Best Fight the Best. Thank you very much for that support. By the way, what's your question, Stormy B, man?
My question is, in some of these fights that we've seen lately, you have heard people speak about, giving rounds even. How hard do you guys try not to make an even round out of scoring a fight when you're scoring?
By any means for me, man. I don't like scoring even rounds. I'll pick somebody, man.
I rarely do even rounds. I have my theory why. So check it out. Okay. Here's my thing. I rarely do 10-8 rounds if there's no knockdown. It's rare. It's I try not to do it. Here's why. Do I trust my judgment? I don't want to toot my own horn, but do I trust my judgment to do a 10-8? Yes, I do. Do I trust most people's judgment? No. Okay. Not every dominant round is a 10-8. Okay. And I also feel that if the guy, let's say you hurt him and he didn't go down, that was a well-earned night. If you didn't knock him down, it's hard for me to say it's a 10-8. And then if that's like a norm, way too many people will do 10-8s. It's like every other round 10-8. Oh, he clearly won 10-8. It's overly abused and used. That's just me. 10-10, rare. Okay. I'm a firm believer that like come on guys, not like even swing rounds aren't 50-50, you know. Like it's in most cases you could pick a winner. But again, do I trust my judgment? Okay, and some others, do I trust their judgment to do a 10-10? Yes. Do I trust most people's judgment? No. I don't. Okay, like that, and if you look at it, how often do you see a 10-8 and how often do you see a 10-10? Like if you do it right, not often. But it becomes if it's normal to do it, you know, then it'll be abused and used too much by different people. That's just my theory on that. What do you think, Reggie?
I do 10-10s because fights do end in draw. So there's things that even out. And I think that should be the same way in rounds. Say if you have a fight to where, I mean, a round, but round by round, you have a round where both fighters hit each other with the equivalent shots, the equivalent amount of shots, 10 shots that are equivalent in between exchanges that are hit amongst the fighters, and nothing else is landed in the round. They're even out right then. So 10 punches landed, same impact. Now, how do you separate that? Certain rounds. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, to end up with a 10-10, Reggie, like a lot of things, like the stars have to line perfectly to me. You know, because like let's use your analogy, right? Well, one guy lands 10, or another guy lands 10. Well, that's fine, right? But what type of punch? Like how many jabs are landed? How many of them were power punches? How many of them were body shots? How many of them were hooks? Like, you know, how many of those were landed in combinations? Which one of those were counters? You know, like that matters to me. How are you setting it up? You know what I mean? Like that matters to me too. How active were you in that round? You know what I mean? Like those things. Like both guys would have to be just as active, just as aggressive, have the same amount of control in the fight, and land the same type of punches. And to me,
and you get that.
Okay, check this out, guys. Did you
go ahead.
during the fight between Spence and Porter? Do you think that was a real legitimate knockdown in that 11th round?
No, but by rule, just from the just by rule, it was. But
right, and I'm not disputing the rule, not at all. But what I was looking at was Sean's condition and how it was like his glove just barely touched the canvas, and he, you know, his eyes kind of flipped. But we're talking about slow motion replay, but in real time, he just kind of went, you know, and he was right there. He was still ready to go. He was cognizant, and that's really tough when that rule is like that, because it's like I really believe that made a huge difference in the final scoring of that fight for whatever reason. I'll always have that in my mind. But then when you look at the Yard Kovalev fight in that 8th round, did Yard deserve a 10-8 round against Kovalev for the type of shape that he had him in, even though Kovalev didn't touch the canvas?
So like, here's my thing. So here's my thing. So like I get what you're saying, but if you get a knockdown, bro, it's a knockdown to me. You know?
Yeah, but a guy could be beaten badly in a 10-8 round situation.
See, I agree with that. I definitely agree, because you get some instance to where a guy's getting beat so bad to where he should have went into an 8 count, but you get some refs that don't go into that. But it has to be assessed that there's such clear domination in this round that something should separate these rounds. And then sometimes you get let me say this, but some rounds are so competitive. How can you add a finality that this fighter should win this round, where some rounds have these ebb and flows to where they balance out? You got some things just balance out. That's why you end up with draws, regardless of you giving this person 6 rounds and this one 6. There should be a rule to where things just balance out. Even in track and field, if we cross the line together and there's nothing that separates us, we draw out.
So
We're even out.
Let me say this, okay? I get what you guys are saying, but here's my thing, okay? If you normalize a 10-8 when there's no knockdown, because you could technically do that now, and I'm not saying I'll never do it. I'm saying it's rare. Not every dominant round is a 10-8 round, okay? The reason, like, here's the reason I'm saying that. Let's say I trust your judgment to decide when to do a 10-8. I don't trust most people's judgment, okay? They don't like a fighter. He just got dominating around. They're going to do a 10-8. You know what I mean? Like, it's easier to screw over fighters that way. If you beat a guy, let's say it's a third round, you beat the shit out of a dude in the third round so bad, right? Then that means you did enough damage to where the next round should be pretty easy to win. And the round after that should be pretty easy to win too. You know, like the course of the fight will reward you for doing damage to your opponent, because that's going to slow your opponent down. That means he's going to throw less punches. That means he's going to put less resistance against you, right? And like the fight itself will reward you for doing that damage. Not only will you win the round, like, you see what I'm saying? And here's the other thing I want to say, kind of in this topic, but the whole he looked tired and all this other shit. Look, let me tell you guys something, okay? If I'm playing a game of 21 with G Funk, what's up, G Funk? Right? And we're playing 21 and the score is 18-7, right? Like, I'm winning. Like, but I look more tired. Like, can you say, but D-Style looks tired? Like I think G Funk's winning because D-Style looks tired right now, right? You know, and I think way too many people do the whole, like, if a guy's winning the round, I don't care if he looks tired, if he looks hurt, if he looks like he's limping, if he's landing the most punches and he's winning that round, I don't care how he looks to you. I don't care how you're reading the dude's body language. If he's winning that round, he's winning that round, right? As far as that goes, I just wanted to make that point. So I don't think I made it clear enough earlier. And by the way, shout out to Blood Box. Look at the boxing spreadsheet. All right, $5 super chat. Okay, what's going on, bro? Thank you very much for the support. But here's what I want to get to, Reg. Let's say there's a round, right, where a guy like is getting dominated. And let's say like 5 seconds before the round's over, bang, gets him with a hook, drops him to a knee, right? And the guy gets back up, right? You're going to score at 10-8, right? Because he got the knockdown? The guy that got the knockdown, let me say this again. Guy A is beating guy B, right? Guy is beating the shit out of him. And he knocks him down 5 seconds before the round's over. That's a 10-8, right?
So A is dominating, because this is the question I was going to ask too. So A is dominating B. 5 seconds before the round is over, B drops A.
No. We'll get to that in a second. A knocks down B. That's clearly a 10-8, right?
Oh, yeah. Mine's going to be the other way around.
Okay.
As well.
Okay, so that's a 10-8 because he got the knockdown, right? Now listen to what I just said. I just said if he dominates the round, like clearly beats the shit out of him, and then knocks him down 5 seconds before, he's going to get that point because it's a knockdown. That's a 10-8, right? But under the same argument we're having, even if he, let's say, he doesn't knock him down, you're going to score the 10-8 anyway. So how do you reward the knockdown has to matter, right? Like if you don't get the knockdown, you don't get, like, it's hard for me to give you that point because that guy stayed on his feet. If you punched him with a shot and you wobbled him and he stayed up and he didn't go down, to me, it's like, how dare you take away a point from that dude? Like he took that punch like a champ and he stayed up and he didn't take a knee like a Nate Campbell. Okay, he didn't take a knee like Joshua. He stayed on his feet. That's a well-earned 9, in my opinion.
I agree. I don't think that you should give a guy.
So, and mine's going to be opposite that of the same scenario.
Okay. You froze up, Reggie.
Ah, we lost Reggie.
Reggie was about to make the greatest point ever. Reggie there.
But
He got raptured, man.
I want to say something about
Go
this
ahead.
10-8 stuff without a knockdown, man, because I don't believe that you should score around 10-8 unless somebody goes down. Now, I think that I could be wrong in this, but I think that when Hearns and Leonard fought in the rematch, now Hearns knocked down Ray Leonard twice in that fight. So those are two 10-8 rounds to his credit for the knockdowns.
Okay.
I could be wrong on this. I have to check. But I think that there was 2 rounds where Ray had Tommy hurt really bad, and he was just floating around the ring, but he didn't go down. I think a couple of those judges gave Ray a 10-8 round without Hearn touching. Yes. And you see, it robbed him of a win. He should have won that night. He should have got the win that night. That's why I don't like the 10-8 round unless somebody actually goes down.
Yeah.
But see, and then this is the other reason why I can balance out rounds. So the same scenario that you had with A and B. So A is dominating the heck out of B. He's beating the brakes off of him. And I was going to use the same scenario you had, except for B was going to drop A within a few seconds of the round. So A is dominating 2 minutes, 55 seconds of this round, just dominating. B catches A with a shot with 5 seconds in that round and drops him. What's the score? On my card, I do 9-9 on that round. How do you see that?
Was Porter winning the round that he got dropped in?
But here's my thing.
That was a tight round.
I think that, like, let's do it from a scale of 1 to 10. That's the best way I could put it for you. Okay. Like, the guy has to be winning on a scale of like either like a 9-10 for me to score that even. Like, if you're not like dominating to the point where it's like embarrassing for the other dude, okay, then if like you are dominating, but it's like at a 7, at an 8, we're kind of like debatable. I can't do it even round. You know what I mean? Like, I just, in your scenario, of course, if the guy's beating the shit out of the other dude, the other guy gets a flash knockdown. I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Like, I'm just saying. Like, the way I see it is, man, every round is like a 2-pointer and a knockdown's a 3-pointer. You know what I mean? That's just the way I see it. Some 3-pointers look better than others, but
it still counts.
Still counts.
Just like a fast break windmill dunk still counts.
Like that Spence Porter round. Even if you feel Porter was, I haven't seen that round in a while, so I can't just tell you. But let's say I felt Porter was winning up to that point. He wasn't like dominating Spence to where like I gotta score it even. Like, it was competitive enough to where Spence gets a 10-8 in my opinion. From what I remember, because I did score a 10-8.
What if a guy goes down 3 times from one shot? Do you stop the fight on the 3 knockdown rule?
if you hit a guy and he goes down, then gets back up and goes down again, that's a TKO. It's over.
Well, a guy went down 3 times. Trevor Berbick went down 3 times when Mike Tyson won the heavyweight championship from him. It was amazing. He went down once, got up, stumbled to his feet, went down a second time, got up, stumbled to his feet, went down a 3rd time.
I think Tyson get like 3 wins in that fight.
Hey, same thing with Montel Griffin and Roy Jones when he hit him with that uppercut. He tried to get up like 5 times and couldn't do it, man. Ended up flat on his face at the end of the round.
I also think, I mean, I hate to say this, and I'm not saying this is Reggie or anything, but a lot of people, I just... Dude, boxing is not the sport to be indecisive. Like, you have to pick, okay? And I'm not like, I've done 10-10, guys, but it's rare. You know what I mean? That's it. The word is rare. But dude, like, there's like Teddy Atlas, just like every other fight, bro. Remember when you used to score fights? Half of the rounds were 10-10. Like you can't have that many 10-10s, bro. Like, you can't have 10. It's not the sport of being indecisive. Like, I think it's a cop out. It's like I think it's close, and I don't want to get criticized because I got this guy winning, so I'm going to say it's even. You know, I think 10-10 in many cases is a cop out. That's just me.
I don't like
They
them.
should definitely bring back 15 or at least make championship fights 13 rounds to get rid of that 6-6 split.
You know,
They need to do
I
something about that.
was thinking about that when when Regis Tater, like this is that type of fight. You know what I mean? Where if we had 15 rounds and we were going to have a winner. You know what I mean? Because someone, I don't know who, but because it was that type of fight, but somebody.
Those last 3 rounds usually made a difference in championship fights. I mean, it was truly a time to separate the champion from who wasn't going to be the champion.
Right.
Very decisive. I would love for them to bring that back. We've had so many controversies out of the 6-6 split. They can't really even justify it now, because if they want to talk about for health reasons and this and that, I mean, come on, man. All the stuff that's going on, the PEDs and stuff, but it would really be nice to bring back for championship fights 15 rounds.
They won't do it, bro.
I know they won't.
I agree with you,
but I'm just saying, I would love to see it happen.
I mean,
at least 13. At least 13.
To me, if 2 fighters agree to it, I don't see why there should be a problem. You know what I mean? Like they're agreeing to it, but they're not going to allow it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Haplotype, when judges would score 10 rounds, I would score them. They don't anymore, so there's no point in calling rounds even. I haven't seen an official judge score an even round in years. It's just not a thing, bro. And I just think that, like, you gotta, like, if it really is like an even round, like, you gotta pick, bro. You know what I mean?
See, I can't do that, man. I think I can't do that. I find that hard to do.
Come on, bro.
That's like the coin toss to figure out who won something that was evened out. And I think that's why
Diesel had a good suggestion. He said, what about an extra judge to rule out, to negate the draws?
Yeah, but you could still get it, if it was up to me, you would just count round 12 double.
Wait, explain that. Explain that.
Or just the championship rounds.
Like not double, but like round, or the championship round, like it's 10.5, to 9. You know what I mean? Something like that. But that's a different story, but I would have it kind of slightly more to, like, let's say like one fighter, just an example, wins the first 6 rounds, another fighter wins the next 6 rounds, because round 10, 11, and 12 are 10.5 instead of 10. That guy's gonna win because he won the championship rounds. That like they're literally gonna matter now. That's what I would do. You know what I mean?
Or if you drop the guy in the 12th round, you get 4 points instead of 2. Oh, man, you see guys going for the
man.
And finally, look, man, did you guys see that ref's reaction to the 117, 112?
Yeah, I saw your video this morning.
So that ref couldn't believe what he just heard. You know what I mean? What's up to Haplotype, by the way? What's up to Diesel? We're going to go around really quick because we're going to wrap this one up. By the way, make sure you guys throw a jab at the like button. Okay, you have like years, bro. Like you have over 100 years of boxing knowledge right here. Okay, if you add it up, because I'm fucking 35 years old, so yeah, we're easily 25 apiece, easy. Okay, but with that said, let's start with you, Stormy B. By the way, catch me on Saturday on Stormy B Man's channel. Right, I'm gonna be in the eye of the storm, so make sure you go subscribe. Stormy B Man, Tyler, where they can find you, and give us your final thoughts.
Well, first of all, I want to say thanks for having me on the show. It's been another great show with you brothers on here. G-Funk, Reggie, D-Styles. I appreciate being able to collaborate with you brothers. It's always good. Everybody can follow me on the YouTube channel, Stormy B Man. That's what's going on with me. My final words are, as we come together and have these discussions like this, and even, like, scoring the rounds and you know, how you give a benefit or you know, you looking at the fights and you seeing certain things with a different eye and point of view. I think these are definitely the kind of discussions to have, because we can bring out the education of the sport, because there used to be a time when people who call the fights and everything would kind of, as the broadcast would go along, they could educate the listening audience or viewing audience as they go along. They don't do that anymore. They spend a great deal more time in lieu of support of who the network is in cahoots with and stuff like that. And the broadcasting is more angled and things like that with someone who might have a television deal. So I think when we have these type of discussions is very beneficial, and positive things come out of this conversation. So I don't think anybody should take it lightly when we have these discussions, because it opens your mind up, and it even may help you when you look at fights going forward in the future. Something like this type of discussion is very beneficial. So that's kind of like what I would like to leave off on. But thanks for having me. I appreciate you, brothers.
G-Funk. Tell everybody what they should do with the like button, by the way, and tell everybody where they can find you and all that. And last thoughts.
Like Mayweather Senior says, use fucking jab, all right, on that like button. But no, as always, I want to say thank you to DStyle for having me on the platform, man. I appreciate it. I love talking this boxing. Stormy B, man, Reggie Owens, thanks for joining. Man, I love it, man. This is the reason why I joined YouTube and made a channel, was to just talk with guys about the sport, because it's you know, there's not a lot of us out there in the world. You know, I don't know a whole lot of hardcore boxing fans in my personal life. So it's always a joy for me, man, to come on here and talk with you guys. If you want to find me, I'm here on YouTube, GFunky84 Boxing. You can subscribe to my channel. Make sure you subscribe to Stormy B, man. Boxing Conversation with Reggie Owens. I'm sure you already subscribe to DStyle, but if you're not, make sure you subscribe. Yeah, I have to say with what Stormy B had to say, man, more of these shows with these kind of topics, I think, are just long overdue. We got to have a marathon at some point, man. Go 3-4 hours on on how we think we could fix this thing, man. I mean, I'm down if you guys are down, especially when it comes to scoring, man. I think that probably for me the most controversial part of scoring is defense, but that's for another topic, you know. But I mean, not for another topic, but for another day, because we're getting ready to wrap this thing up. But thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it, and subscribe to everybody and hit that like button.
Reggie Owens. Tell everybody where they can find you, man. Make sure you guys subscribe to Reggie, bro. He's almost at 1,000. All right, so make sure you go subscribe to Reggie Owens. By the way, that's Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens. By the way, there's not going to be a show on Thursday because of Halloween, but you can catch Reggie Owens and G-Funk with myself on Wednesday. Okay, we'll be doing a show for that. So if any of you guys want that smoke, all right, like, Canelo's going to win, bring it.
Sending it up, baby. We're sending it
up.
up.
Okay, because when we don't do it, they're here. Like, if you, like, you're ducking me. Like, you know, okay, we're on that show. But go ahead, Rich.
Man, yes, indeed. Y'all stop through and hit that subscribe button on the brother's channel, on everybody's channel, not just mine. But, man, this was a great show, man. I enjoyed it, and especially going over the particulars of boxing. I love that. Speaking about the scoring thing, some of the complaints that come up from fans complaining about a person looking tired. I love covering the particulars of the sport and just throwing out our own ideals, man, and having this conversation, our own narrative, which is not based on the agendas, but based on the perfecting of the sport. I enjoy that. I enjoy the heck out of these type of conversations, along with covering the fights. But the particulars of the sports is always great, man. I enjoy anytime I hear anyone speaking on that. But, man, great conversation. And like I say, conversation rules the nation. So it's always great to sit down and congregate with the brothers on here, congregate in the chat. It's always, man, it's fire stuff, man. I enjoy it because I enjoy the hell out of boxing. But that's all I got, man. Y'all subscribe to everybody's channels. Hit that like button. Show us some love. And, man, we'll catch you guys again.
Well, there you go, man. Shout out to everybody, by the way. It's hard to go through every comment. If we did, we'd be here like for 4 hours. But I do appreciate everybody, from Daryl Zapata, Haplotype, and everybody. Dark Truth in house. I use scoring system to integrate away each piece or building block to me. With that 10.5, man, tweet's a good idea, bro. Like, think about it. In the championship round, or you get 10.5, it would make a difference. I'm just telling you. But anyway, with that said, this is DStyleBoxing. We're out, guys. Peace.
Keep it boxing.
That's right. Keep it boxing.